Hello students. Welcome to chapter, or lesson 2. My name is Allison, and I am from the United States. So, my accent is American. In this video, we will learn about A. Simple present tense with verbs, other than be. Statements. For example, he works. Questions. With do, or does. For example, does he work? Short answers. For example, yes, he does. B. Single word adverbs of frequency. For example, always, usually, often, etc. Notice the form of the verb when the subjects are singular and plural. Singular subject, I, you, and he. For example, I work every morning. You work every morning. He works every morning. Plural subject, we, you, and they. For example, we work every morning. You work every morning. They work every morning. Exercise 1 and 2. Exercise 1. Practice the two forms of the following verbs by substituting. For example, reads. John reads in the morning, and we read in the afternoon. Writes. John writes in the morning, and we write in the afternoon. Practices. John practices in the morning, and we practice in the afternoon. Exercise 2. Has is the third person, singular form of have. Practice these two forms by substituting the teacher's words. Change the rest of the statement, if necessary. For example, we have coffee here in the morning. John has coffee here in the morning. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the use of does in questions. Previous pattern. For example, statement. The book is green. Question. Is the book green? New pattern. For example, statement. John works in the morning. Question. Does John work in the morning? In American English, the question which corresponds to, John has a book, is usually, does John have a book? Has John a book? Is another possible form. Additional examples. Does Mr. Smith practice in class? Does the student study? Does Mary read Spanish? Exercise 3. Change the teacher's statement into a question. For example, John studies at night. Does John study at night? Mary studies in the afternoon. Does Mary study in the afternoon? Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Compare the use of does and do in questions. Statement. For example, he works in the morning. Question. For example, does he work in the morning? Statement. For example, they work every day. Question. For example, do they work every day? Additional examples. Do I speak well? Do you read Spanish? Does Mary work? Do we begin in the morning? Do you come here every day? Do Mr. and Mrs. Allen eat dinner at 7 o'clock? Exercise 4 and 5. Exercise 4. Change the teacher's statement into a question. Use do or does. For example, John and Mary study English. Do John and Mary study English? John studies in the morning. Does John study in the morning? Mr. and Mrs. Allen teach Spanish. Do Mr. and Mrs. Allen teach Spanish? Exercise 5. Change the teacher's statement into a question. Use either do, does, or a form of be. Substitute a pronoun for the subject noun phrase. For example, John and Mary study here. Do they study here? Mr. Allen reads at night. Does he read at night? The book is open. Is it open? Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 6 and 7. Exercise 6. Answer the teacher's question with an affirmative short answer. For example, does Mary study at night? Yes, she does. Do Mr. and Mrs. Allen drink tea? Yes, they do. Exercise 7. Answer the teacher's question with a negative short answer. For example, does John eat lunch here? No, he doesn't. Do classes begin at 6 a.m.? No, they don't. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. please remember that always refers to 100% of time, or all of the time. Usually refers to most of the time. Often refers to 50% of time, or much of the time. Sometimes refers to some of the time. Seldom refers to almost never. Never refers to not at any time. Exercise 8 and 9. Exercise 8. Practice the use of affirmative and negative answers. Answer the teacher's question individually. Give a true answer. For example, is the book green? Yes, it is. Do I understand English? Yes, you do. Does the class begin at 7 a.m.? No, it doesn't. Exercise 9. Substitute a word, like always, for the multi-word adverbials of frequency. For example, Mary drinks milk all of the time. Mary always drinks milk. John drinks milk most of the time. John usually drinks milk. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Exercise 10 and 11. Exercise 10. Substitute a word, like always, for the multi-word adverbials of frequency. For example, John is busy all of the time. John is always busy. Mr. Allen is busy most of the time. Mr. Allen is usually busy. Exercise 11. Summary exercise. For example, John drinks milk much of the time. He often drinks milk. He is thirsty much of the time. He is often thirsty. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Notice the position of always in questions. Statement. For example, John always studies at night. Question. For example, does John always study at night? Statement. For example, Mary is always busy. Question. For example, is Mary always busy? Adverbs like always come before the main verb study, arrive, etc., in questions, as well as in statements. With forms of be, are, an, is, the adverb of frequency remains with the rest of the predicate when the verb is put before the subject to make a question. Exercise 12 and 13. Exercise 12. Change the teacher's statement into a question. The next student will answer the question. For example, the teacher is usually busy. Student A. Is the teacher usually busy? Student B. Yes, he is. You are often busy. Student B. Are you often busy? Student C. Yes, I am. Or, no, I'm not. Exercise 13. This is a review exercise. Change the teacher's statement into a question. Include ever in the question. Another student will give a true answer. For example, you study at night. Student A. Do you ever study at night? Student B. Yes, usually. Or, no, never, etc. You are tired. Student B. Are you ever tired? Student C. No, seldom. Or, yes, often, etc. You eat fish. Student C. Do you ever eat fish? Student D. Yes, sometimes. Or, no, seldom, etc. Now, please do the following exercise. You can pause your video until you finish the exercise. Well done, students. You have finished chapter or lesson 2. I hope you enjoy it and keep practicing. See you again. Bye.